subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Hello and welcome to ThePrint at the movies. This week we'll be reviewing Thappad, starring Taapsee Pannu and Pavel Gulati.
So just one slap then? Just a slap? But nahi maar sakta.
Directed by Anubhav Sinha, this film tells the story of Amrita and Vikram, a really well-to-do couple living in upscale Delhi with Vikram's mother, who are the picture-perfect happy family. Until, of course, Vikram slips and slaps Amrita. Now, everybody else seems to move on from that little incident, but Amrita, of course, is shaken to her core and is then forced to file a petition against her husband, Vikram, and then faces all the regressive and toxic reactions of the Indian mindset. Now, this may be the story of Amrita at the core of it, but is also actually the story of all Indian women. And more importantly, the story or the lesson that they're taught right from the moment that they're born, that you have to suffer in silence because you are a woman. And when I say this is the story of every woman, Anubhav Sinha actually goes on to tell the story of every woman by showing the story of not just Amrita, but all the women that are in her life. For example, her maid Sunita, who gets beaten up by a drunken husband every night. Or the story of Amrita's lawyer, who is extremely successful and ambitious, but still has to face the patronizing and sexist tone of her pompous husband. Or even the story of Amrita's mother and mother-in-law, who are products of their time, when they didn't even know that women had the right to stand up for themselves. So, in shades and in small ways, Anubhav Sinha actually brings about the story of 5-6 different women, all of whom you can relate to, because even if you are not one of them, you have seen one of them in your life. And what brings them together is one single point, that just because you're a woman, and that to an Indian woman, you will never be given the status of equality that you deserve.
बस यही सुनना रह गया था, बेटी डाइवोर्स करेगी।
जाने दे बेटा, थोड़ा बर्दाश्त करना सीखना चाहिए औरतों को.
Part of what makes the movie really powerful is how simplistic and how understated the entire script and screenplay are. The dialogues are extremely powerful, not because they're extraordinary, but because they're ordinary. These are lines that we have heard throughout our lives, if not from our parents or partners, outside with friends, or more importantly in films and TV serials. लोग क्या कहेंगे, एक ही तो थप्पड़ था, like ऐसे छोटी मोटी बातें होती रहती है मियाँ बीवी में. These are all these lines that sort of dismiss a woman's agency and rob her of any right to speak up for herself. And this is something that is pervasive throughout our culture and the system that we work in, even in woke times such as these. Writers Anubhav Sinha and Mrunmayee Lagu actually bring out this sort of entrenched patriarchy and misogyny that we have in the way we speak, in the way we act, in the way we react, so simply, but it is so powerful and so starkly put.
गलत तो नहीं कर रहे ना?
हम तो हमेशा सही सोच के करते हैं बेटा, और कई बार सही करने का रिजल्ट हैप्पी नहीं होता.
The film also puts out one very important point about how we as a society react to violence. For example, the scene right after where Taapsee Pannu is slapped, the first thing she does is look up and see who is watching, and she sees her entire family watching. They all acknowledge the fact that what happened was disturbing and wrong in their faces, but don't say anything and move on, as if it was really not such a big deal. And that really showcases how we Indians internalize violence in so many different ways, not just physical violence, but the violence through words, in the way we talk to each other, in the way we emote with each other. There's always violence, and we always all internalize it, especially women. Coming to performances, they're just as good as the film, and because they're just as understated and nuanced. Taapsee Pannu does a great job at playing a woman who has been violated in a way she did not expect. She's shell-shocked. But she's also determined at getting justice because she knows that what has happened to her is absolutely wrong. Pavel Gulati does a great job as a man who loves his wife, but is also very blinded by the patriarchy and the privilege that this patriarchal society affords him as a man. The supporting cast like Ratna Pathak Shah, Tanvi Azmi and Kumud Mishra do a great job as parents who are concerned, who know that what has happened is wrong. But because they have flowed with the status quo for so long, also want to keep that lesson going with their children and are scared to break it.
हर रिश्ता फ्लॉड होता है, उसे जोड़ के रखना पड़ता है।
जोड़ के रखनी पड़े कोई चीज़ तो मतलब टूटी हुई है ना।
Another notable performance is Amrita's lawyer, played by Maya Sarayo. She is an absolutely ambitious, top-notch lawyer who has the world at her feet, but is still subjected to her husband's patriarchy and hence has to reevaluate all her life and her relationships. Now, this film will make you uncomfortable and squirm a little bit in your seat because it really plainly shows you how misogynistic we all really are. And this is specifically true for the men who will watch it. It will make you uncomfortable, but you must watch it. For the women, you will relate to this movie on a different level because even though you may not have experienced violence in any form, it is still your story because it is the story of every Indian woman. And most importantly, this movie will change the way you think and react to violence because it will stay with you long after you've left the theatre. So please go watch this film.
उसने मुझे मारा पहली बार, नहीं मार सकता, बस इतनी सी बात है और मेरी पेडिशन भी इतनी सी है।
Here's hoping that next week is just as good. This is Madhavi Pothkuchi for ThePrint and you're watching At The Movies. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel.